This band was a marvelous yet underrated group, notable for being one of the few racially mixed groups to record for Motown. As an international doo-wop band, they drew on their diverse backgrounds to craft a distinctive sound and blending smooth harmonies with upbeat rhythms that set them apart in the music scene. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. Before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push the notification bell to be sure you won't miss on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born Robert Edward Taylor on February 18, 1934, in Washington, D.C., he moved to New York City as a young man and began singing in doo-wop groups, eventually becoming a member of the Four Pharaohs, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, and Little Anthony and the Imperials. His music career officially began in 1958 with the Four Pharaohs, a group that released a handful of locally popular recordings in the Columbus, Ohio area. In the early 60s, while in San Francisco, Taylor crossed paths with the band Little Daddy and the Bachelors, which included vocalist Tommy Melton, guitarist Tommy Chong, bassist Wes Henderson, pianist Bernie Sneed, and drummer Floyd Sneed. Originally known as the Calgary Shades during their time in Calgary, the group's name highlighted its interracial makeup Chong, who later became famous as part of the comedy duo Cheech and Chong, is half Chinese, while the other members were black, white, and Aboriginal. Taylor himself was of black, Puerto Rican, and Native American descent. The band recorded a single, Too Much Monkey Business, back with Junior's Jerk. And in 1962, Melton and Chong performed at Vancouver's Blues Palace, a former movie theater turned dance hall, where they opened for Ike and Tina Turner. Although Little Daddy and the Bachelors developed a modest following, tensions arose when they controversially followed guitarist Tommy Chong's suggestion to bill themselves as 4 N's and a C, a name that sparked backlash. The group soon rebranded as Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. Their big break came when Florence Ballard and Mary Wilson of the Supremes heard Taylor and Chong perform at Vancouver's Elegant Parlor and commended them to Motown founder Berry Gordy. In 1967, the group signed with Motown, and the following year released their debut hit, Does Your Mama Know About Me?, which peaked at number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became their biggest seller. Their momentum continued with I Am Your Man, which climbed to number 5 on the US R&B chart. Oh, someone who you can respect. And Melinda, which reached number 16 later that year. Despite their success, life at Motown was difficult. At the height of the group's popularity, Chong and bassist Wes Henderson were fired by producer Johnny Bristol for missing performances absences that were actually due to the efforts to secure US green cards. While Chong would go on to achieve fame as part of the comedy duo Cheech and Chong, the rest of the band, as Canadian outsiders, struggled to fully integrate into the Motown scene. Still, Berry Gordy himself remained supportive of the group. In July 1968, during a performance at the Regal Theater in Chicago, Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers featured a young local family band, the Jackson 5 as their opening act. Deeply impressed by their talent, Taylor personally brought the group to Detroit and introduced them to the Motown offices, arranging an audition with executive Suzanne DePass. Both DePass and Motown founder Berry Gordy were captivated by the Jacksons, leading to their signing with the label in March 1969. Taylor became their first producer, overseeing much of their debut album Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. and he recorded the group on several soul covers, including The Miracles' Who's Loving You. Though Berry Gordy later moved the Jacksons to California and took direct control of their musical direction, Taylor briefly joined them there. However, he received no official credit for his contributions to the group's early hits like I Want You Back, ABC, which were produced by Gordy's in-house team, The Corporation. Despite this, Taylor was instrumental in shaping their early sound, producing many of their covers of classic rhythm and blues songs. Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers disbanded shortly afterward when Tommy Chong attempted to restructure their Motown contract, proposing that only he, Bobby Taylor, and Wes Henderson be recognized as official members, while Robbie King, Eddie Patterson, and Ted Lewis would be relegated to sidemen and session players. Around this time, Taylor auditioned to replace David Ruffin as lead singer of The Temptations, but was ultimately not selected. In 1975, a revived version of Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers released a single, Why Play Games, which peaked at number 83 on the Billboard charts. Followed by Fading Away, which failed to chart in the US but achieved modest success in Canada. Taylor later transitioned to Motown's VIP label as a solo artist. Although his song, Oh, I've Been Blessed, later gained a cult following, his solo releases struggled commercially. By 1971, due to a financial dispute, Taylor parted ways with Motown and continued recording intermittently into the mid-70s. Bobby Taylor left Motown Records in 1976, but struggled to revive his career afterward. He later signed with Ian Levine's Motor City Records, where he helped bring other former Motown artists to the label. Taylor also successfully sued Motown, though the details of the case remain largely undisclosed. Relocating to the United Kingdom, he formed a new iteration of his group, Bobby Taylor and the New Vancouvers, and recorded an album for Motor City. In his later years, Taylor battled throat cancer, seeking treatment from various holistic practitioners. Meanwhile, his former bandmates faced their own ends. Robbie King passed at age 56 on September 27, 2003 in Vancouver. In 2006, Taylor moved to Beijing, China, where he opened a recording studio before relocating to Hong Kong in 2009 to perform in nightclubs. By 2011, he had begun contributing as a writer for the South China Morning Post. A father of 12, Robert Edward Taylor, passed away on July 22, 2017 in Hong Kong at the age of 83. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers?